Posted by you/Leafy Peaches. The story of how I was almost kidnapped. I lived in a small town on the outskirts of Chicago. I was in 6th grade and planning to meet my friend and go buy dresses for the upcoming school dance. This was approximately 2009, if I did the math right. It was 10 a.m. on a bright Saturday morning and I lived about 10 blocks from her, so I left out my back door and cut through the alley making my way towards her house. I didn't even get 20 feet from my house before he saw me and stopped. He stopped at the end of the alley, right behind my neighbor's house, watching me. I turned around at the sound of his truck. It was a white van, windowless, nonetheless. A young man was staring back at me. I kept up my pace like nothing but took the very next right turn. It was a particularly beautiful day out. I was enjoying the view of the sun leaking through the thick elm leaves onto the Chicago-style houses as I continued my path. Then I see him again. He drives by casually down the one-way street I was on, going the same direction as me. Slowing down just a tad as he passed me, he stared. I made it another 2 blocks before I see him driving by again, checking me out. I'm on high alert at this point. Walking past the park I visited often, I knew I was halfway to my friend's house. I suddenly heard a loud noise and spun around to see the same white van speeding the wrong way down the street behind me. His eyes were bewildered, and we made eye contact. I started sprinting to my friend's house in a panic. I still had 5 more blocks to go. I was running like I was trying out for the Olympics. I hear him coming full throttle from behind me. I wasn't sure if he was going to hit me or what. But he passed me. Strange, I thought. I was just a mere block away from her house when he finally made his move. Coming full speed from ahead, I was scared and jumped behind the garbage bins that were out for pickup the day before. But he saw me. There was not a single person around. He slams on his brakes in the middle of the intersection and quickly jumps out of the van, running towards me. I frantically get up and sprint to the nearest house, missing his grab by a few meters. I ran straight to the backyard to hide. I was expecting there to be people but nobody was around. I crouched in the corner of the fence and garage. Thank goodness the fencing was vertical wooden panels, because he immediately drove down the alley behind that house, thinking I was cutting through. Sitting there in a crouched fetal position against the fence, I can hear the sound of his truck pass by slowly in the alley. The only thing between us, a wooden fence. The only thing keeping me concealed. I fumbled for my little flip phone, and called my friend's house phone. Nobody answered. I left a daunting voicemail I can only imagine her family listening to in horror. Within a few minutes, I get a call back and get picked up by her big brother. He was livid. Searching for the guy on the way back. I never called the police. I was scared of the police. But I truly believe that man would have either trafficked me, or raped and killed me if he got a hold of me that day. I still worry that he may have been frustrated with the failed attempt and went for another child. And then on the following Monday, the principal cancelled our dance due to kids misbehaving. Posted by you/Subiki. Washed up skaters turned coke dealers. So this happened to me roughly 6-ish years ago. I was going through a lot, my so was dying from terminal cancer, but still mostly normal at this point. I don't remember why, but she was at a close friend of ours and I was about a 35 or 45-minute drive away, at work. I had been given my brother's shitty Chrysler 300 as we didn't have any other vehicles at the time. A week later a close friend gifted us a Saturn they thought would get us through a few months before it died. It lasted me 4 years totally irrelevant. Anyway, after work, off at midnight, I started the drive up. I got within 4 or 5 minutes from the house and my car died at the intersection at nearly 1 a.m. So a couple guys in a Jeep help me push it and another guy in a pickup joins in. All three start asking if I'm okay, do I need a ride anywhere, etc. I somehow learned that the two guys were stoners and the other one was a pastor. It's been so long so I don't remember why I found this out, but I was fresh out of Bible college by a few years, and newly atheist. I remember the pastor had a name tag or introduced himself as Pastor so and so, but I can't remember how the guys gave away their stoner status. The pastor was very concerned for my safety, when I stated I'd let them take me to my friends. He asked me 3 times if I was sure, alone and away from them, making it clear he didn't trust my judgment. I was totally fine, rational, right? So, I get in these dudes' Jeep and I'm immediately like, thanks for the help, wanna smoke? I got some green as a thank you and they told me their apartment was right around the corner, we could smoke there. At this point no creeper vibes, just friendly stoner vibes. Turns out they're twins, from my hometown 45 minutes away. They likely knew my brother as they def had friends in common and they'd gained mild popularity in the late 90s as skaters. We hit their apartment, and smoked a bowl before heading out to drop me off. The entire time my so knew what was going on and was pretty okay with it. She was a huge stoner so she thought it was kinda cool, actually. On the way to my friends, they said they needed to stop for gas, cool no big. We get it and start down to my friends. They've been talking non-stop the whole time about their career, clearly their claim to fame, and since I recognized them, they just keep doing, and one of them suddenly bursts out something about how now they deal coke. The second brother stops dead quiet and suddenly things are super awkward. Earlier they'd offered me some but had no qualms when I politely declined, though they made the obligatory joke about my being a cop. The vibes turned super scary suddenly. The quieter brother is going on now about how the talkative one always does this shit and opens his mouth and I could be a fucking cop and, are you a fucking cop? Suddenly their attention is back on me and I'm just so afraid I'll say the wrong thing. I assure them, in what I hope is a super nonchalant manner, that I'm not a cop and I don't care what they do, just not my thing, and I wait. Brother talker immediately takes up my side, because he's in trouble for blurting, while brother quiet stares at me in the rear view. We pull up to the house and the doors are still locked. He reiterates his question, and keeps staring. Again, I smile, trying to be cool and not seem like a fucking cop, but honestly I was probably hella suspicious. He finally lets me go. I rushed inside. Note, posted in r/let's not meet but didn't realize I missed the repeated encounter guideline. Posted by u/LewisC94. I witnessed a home intruder at 4 a.m. before he entered the home I had just left. A few years ago, I used to help out a family member check cows who were soon to give birth in the winter. I worked the night shift, so I would sleep in the guest room at the farm for a few hours then go out at 2 a.m. to check the cows, which took a bit then I'd head home. I used to do this about 3 nights a week. This specific night I made the rounds and all was fine. So I hopped in my car and left the farm to head home. I was able to just barely pick up speed when I noticed a figure on the road. It's common to see deer, so I kept my brights on and slowed way down. As I got closer I realized in the middle of the road, there's a man. It's winter, but he was only wearing a hoodie. He was alone, no dog, no vehicle parked by, and no other driveways nearby. But I just assumed it was someone who had a reason to be out at 4 a.m. in the middle of nowhere. So I drove home and forgot about it. The next day, while having dinner at my sister and brother-in-law's house, my brother-in-law had something to tell us, but waited till their kids went to bed. He told us, this morning my parents woke up with a man inside their house. My heart dropped. The farmer, who is my brother-in-law's dad, woke up only to find a stranger wearing a gray hoodie sitting at his kitchen table. He had walked right through the front door that used to always stay unlocked. Assuming the stranger walked straight to the farmhouse after I drove by, he would have been in their home, undetected for almost 3 hours. Thank God the stranger was not there to harm, rather he was confused. He couldn't remember anything about himself or how he got there. It was as if a bad trip had led him to walk out in the middle of winter for miles with no coat and only one shoe on. Feeling uncomfortable, yet realizing the stranger was not a threat, the farmer brought him to the nearest gas station in town where the stranger had a friend come pick him up. Now the farmer and his wife always locked their doors.